everyone, and welcome to my channel. So question for you. Has your tool collection grown like crazy recently? So if you're anything like me, mine has grown like crazy recently. I love my tools, don't mind purchasing them. I've said this before. It's just a matter of I want to make sure I get my use out of them. So today we're going to do another episode of Creative Memories Tools Roulette. So if you haven't seen my videos before, I have done this a couple times and I will link those videos at the very end of this video if you want to go back and watch the first couple. But what I do is I've basically made a list of all the tools that I purchased, and these are just my creative memory tools. Of course, I have tools that are non-creative memories and I want to use those as well, but this is just my creative memory tools. This can be done with any tools, any supply. I've also done this with a list of random supplies and to help me just kind of pull in things into my layout. But what I do here on YouTube is strictly my creative memories tools. So I made a list, and last time we did this, I was on 53. I've marked it here, and I've added quite a few in the last month and a half or 2 months since we've done the last round. So basically I made a list. I'm going to do a random draw. I'm going to pick 3 tools to use on one layout, and then I'm going to gather up all my supplies, create my layout, and you can let me know what you think. Okay, so let me get my iPad open and we'll get that random number generator. I use random.org. It's a free site. And all I do is I go in and I put how many I have. So I start with the 1 and I go up to, I have 76 now in my inventory. And I'm going to push 76 and I'm going to say generate, and I'm going to do this 3 times and it'll give me 3 different tools that I'm going to use. Okay, let's go ahead and do the first one. And it says number 6. Let me write this down and I'll do it again. 45, and one more time, 56. Okay, let me put this away, and let's look at what we selected. So we selected number 6, which is the Border Making Cartridge, the Bridge. 45 is, another Border Making Cartridge. This time it's the Flourish Vine, which I happen to have here, I think, yep, on my desk. And number 56, oh wow, another Border Making Cartridge. Okay, I selected 3 Border Making cartridges. So, and it's the double fan, which happens to be here on my desk as well. So those 2 we'll put up here. This will be very interesting to try and get 3 very different Border Making cartridges all on one layout, but I know I can do it. I'm going to clear off my desk, gather up that last cartridge and my Border Making system, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back and I have my 3 cartridges here that I randomly selected. I'm hoping I can get through this segment of the video because this is my 4th attempt at trying to get this part filmed, and for some reason my software keeps booting me out and not saving the recordings. I got pretty far on one of the recordings. I'm going to walk you back through what I did using a different piece of paper and creating a new layout, and then when I get to the point where I left off, I'll bring back in the first layout so we can continue with that. So this is how I started. When I first drew 3 cartridges, I thought, oh boy, that's going to be difficult to get all onto one layout spread. So what I decided to do was just punch a few out and kind of just play with them and randomly put them on to a piece of paper. So what I did was I did some on cardstock, some I had already. I just pulled out of a different bin and was playing with them. So I did some on cardstock and I did some on pattern paper, and I did even some that were doubled up. So I wanted to see what it would look like if I ran something down the middle of it. I did some that were where I skipped a cartridge. So I did bridge, double fan, bridge, just to see what it would look like. And then as I was playing with these on the paper, then my idea just popped into my head. The idea I came up with is a very, very simple layout. It's something that I actually teach when I do a beginning scrapbooking class. During that class, I go over the basics of scrapbooking, and then we make a page, and I do a very simple page just to give them the idea of how simple it really can be. And then I let them use the border making system. And the funny thing is, they usually almost always pick 2 when they do this. And even though my example has 1, they always want to put 2. And another funny thing is that a lot of times people pick the bridge. So when I was playing around, then this came to my mind, and I thought, yep, I'm going to do this, and I know for sure I'll get 2 on. And then I just had to work in where I'm going to get the 3rd one in. Let me put these aside and get my pattern paper. So the technique that I'm going to use is the fold over page. So a lot of people probably know how to do this already. It's very simple, and it requires, the actual page layout doesn't require any tools. And so when we do use tools, I bring in the border making cartridge. So perfect for this layout. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a border strip using the Flourish Vines. Okay, so let me go ahead and put my paper in. I'm going to do that on this beautiful green. I believe this green came from a Totally Tonal pack. Okay, so if you're not familiar with the system, the cartridge slides right in like that. You can hear it click. I kind of just put this paper in. Let me back up a bit here. So you put the paper in under the arm, put the arm down. There's a magnet here that will hold it in. Make sure that it's flush in both corners, and then we're ready to punch. So we put the paper guide back, and it locks in place underneath, and the paper hanging out is what's going to slide into the cartridge. So we just slide it in, and then you can hear it and feel it click into place. But to make sure, these 2 notches, the white one and the blue one, should be aligned, and then it's ready to go. Okay, and you just push down. On this one, I like to pull it out and then slide it back in until it clicks in place again, and continue, only because this one is kind of a delicate cut, and I don't want it to get tangled up. I haven't had any issues with this one, but I'll just keep doing it that way just to be sure. Now, this one is what we call an edge punch, because when we're done punching it out, it stays on the edge of the paper. So in fact, I randomly picked 2 edge punches because the bridge is also an edge punch. So it stays intact on the paper until you cut it off. Okay, and we are going to cut it off for our page design. Let me grab my 12-inch trimmer. And I'm going to do this one up to at the edge of the cutter, which is approximately 1 3/4 inch. There we go, a nice big chunky piece. And then we're going to adhere this one right to the top of our page like that. See, already it's so beautiful. Okay, let me get my gray mat. Make sure I'm going to line this up correctly. Okay. So let's see, I want a little bit of white showing at the top, so I think I'll put it right about the 10-inch mark, and then come over here to the 2-inch. So that tells me it's starting at about 2 inches down from the paper. So we're probably done with the Flourish Vine. So to get it out, you push the button on the back and then give it a little shake, and it falls right out into your hand. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in our blue piece, and I'm going to butt it right up next to the green. So what I want to do is put a little bit of adhesive right at the top up there, and then I'm just going to align this paper right up next to the green. Okay, so then if we turn it over, we'll see we have about 2 inches here, and this is where our fold over technique comes into play. Now you could just fold it over the 2 inches and then that could be your page design right there. But I want to bring it up a little bit more. I want this to be, let's see, let's put this back down to the 4.5 inch mark. So I want a little bit of white showing at the bottom. Okay, so just about 4.5. Now that this measurement doesn't matter at all. It could be wider, it could be thinner, however much you want to show. And now we're going to come back in with our adhesive. We are at the 4.5 inch line, so we want to make sure that we don't go above that. And we put it underneath the fold so that it stays down. And then we also want to come and do it underneath this area too. Now I'm going to come down to about the 10.5 inch line, and I want to leave a little bit of space for some tucking of my next border. So I'm going to not put adhesive past the 10 inch. Okay. There we go. And there's our page layout so far. Okay, let me put this away. And I'm going to bring in the bridge. Okay, and so far my recording is doing really good. So I'm going to grab my other layout. So on this layout, I was using the Welcome Home collection, and I had some scrap paper to go along with that. This is where I left off with the Welcome Home, using the Welcome Home paper before my recording stopped, but it looks like we're doing good now. So I did the same thing. I have my Flourish Vine at the top. I butted my blue paper right up to the edge, folded this over, adhered it down. Okay, when you're doing this, the only biggest decision is to make sure you have a piece of pattern paper where you like both sides. And then I did cut out the bridge using the same system that I did for the Flourish Vine. This one is going to go right down here at the bottom. Okay, so like that. So that's going to be my finished design. Now I also brought in some green because I was going to kind of do both and see which one I liked better. So let me go ahead and punch out a green strip with the bridge. Move this out. Okay, I'm not really sure. That was kind of sticking a little bit. Never had that problem with that punch before. Let's put that aside and bring our trimmer back in. I trimmed the blue one at 1 inch, so I want to do the same with this one. I just need enough at the bottom to tuck underneath. Okay, let's put that aside. Bring our layout back in. Let's switch out our borders and see which one we like the best. So I do like the green one. My other idea was to put a strip of green. I like to cover up my seams, so I would like to maybe put a strip of green right there. So let's bring in this one more time. See if I can get a 1/2 inch, be a good amount. There's 2 greens on this one. There's this one, and this one. Okay, so I do like that. Let me just move this out one more time, bring in the blue and make a final decision here. Let's see, let's bring the photos in and see if that helps. I am going to be doing some photos of my daughter getting an award at school. I think these will both be 4-inch squares over here, and then some 3-inch squares, 3.5 inch maybe. Let me put the green back in. There's some green in our background here. Inside the school auditorium, there's a globe and it has some green on it. So let's see. Yep, I think I'm gonna go with the green, kind of bring that all the way through. So let me take these off, put those aside for a moment, and then adhere these down. I'm just taking this and putting it halfway between each one. Another thing you can use here is, I guess you could use another border cartridge if you wanted to. I didn't want to put the fan, the double fan there because it was just way too much. Well, that's red, but I think it was just too much going on. Okay, so I do like this bridge at the bottom. Whoops. Okay, let's slide this in. There we go. Okay, let me put that aside for one moment. Grab my personal trimmer here because I do know that I want to trim these down to 4 inches. These are like the perfect pictures to be 4x4s. A lot of extra space on them. Okay, and then these will be 3.5. Let's see, I want as much as the globe as possible, so do it right there, and then 3.5. Yep, we're not going to get much of the globe. I think we're okay. Okay, that's a 3.5 inch. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. That was easy cutting today for our photos. Bring our layout back in one more time. I think what I'm going to do here is something like this. And I'm trying to decide if I want to back them individually, if I want to mat them individually, or run a piece straight down. So I think what I'm going to do is mat them individually. So the big ones are 4.25. I'm going to do 4.25 because they're 4 inches, and I like just a little bit of a mat behind. So I'll do a 4.25 inch square. And I'm wondering if I should use 2 different colors. These 2 photos are almost the same. Well, let's see what we have here. Let's do one more. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Well, let's see. I have enough to mat one more. So this was a 3.5 inch. So let me do a 3.25 inch. Okay. Yep, I like that they're all individually matted. Okay, so let me bring in before I mat this final picture, let me bring in that third border making cartridge that I selected, which was the double fan. What I like to do when I get a border making cartridge and I start playing around with it is I like to create things like this. I turn it into a journaling box. So I just decorate a little bit at the top, and then I make room for a journaling box. Now I don't need one quite this big and not that color. So I'm going to bring some blue in. Let's see how big this blue is. It's about 4 3/4, about. Okay, and then this is, I wrote on the back, it's 3 inches. I like the 3 inch. Get us a 3 inch piece. Okay, so now what I'm going to do with this is, so it's 3 inches wide. If you take the cartridge and you put it in, you don't have to use this mechanism. You can use it as a standalone punch as well. So that's what I'm going to do here. That's how I created this look. So what you do is this is a 3 inch cut, which happens to fit just perfectly in here. And if you look at this housing unit, you'll see some manufacturing lines, and between this line here and this line here is a 3 inches. So if you put the piece of paper in, you should make sure it's lined up between those two as much as possible, and it is, and then you can slightly press it down to hold it. Let me show you on the back. Same thing, you line it up with those 2 lines, press and hold it, but when you go to punch it, turn it upside down to make sure that the fallout will come out the bottom. So I'm just pressing it down to hold it in place, and then when I'm ready, I push it down, and then all my fallout can come out right here, so it doesn't jam up my punch. And when you pull it out, you have just a little block. And if you wanted to then trim down a little bit, you can do that too. And I thought that this would make a great journaling spot, and also an area for me to put my embellishments. Now in this pack, on one of the little mat cards that were in this die cut pack, this one was in there, and I was thinking about that one, but I think it might be too much. I won't be able to read it that well. So I'm going to change that up a bit. So I'm going to bring in some lined paper. Okay, so let's bring this in. So it's going to be long, 2 3/4, and then 3 1/2. So I'm just going to match up as best as I can right here. Try and conserve my paper. This is Creative Memories lined paper. Okay, well, there we go. And then, oh, I just need to trim it just a little bit. Yep, there, it'll look like that. Okay, so there we go. I got all 3 of my punches on there so far, and I like it. You know, it doesn't have a theme. This is a perfect pictures for this because it doesn't have to be like so theme heavy, right? It's just, it's an awards at school, so it's perfect for all these different cartridges. Okay, so these photos, I want them to be a little bit smaller. Right now they're at 4, and the size is just kind of a little bit big. So I'm going to take off another 1/4 inch all the way around, and I'm going to take off a tiny bit on each side. This one actually has more room, so I can, let's turn it. And I'm going to do that for both of these big photos, and this mat now I'm going to shrink down to a 4x4. That way the mat is 4x4, but the photo isn't. Yeah, I think I'm going to like that better. So let me do the same thing to this photo. I think I'm going to like that much better. So yeah, I like it to fit into the block. See, it's kind of like a block to me, from the green to the green. I didn't like it that it was getting too close to that green one up there. So I'm going to mat this one as well, get all this adhered down, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back and we're ready to embellish. So I brought in a couple of things from the collection. There was a few things that might work. I thought, you know, might do pretty good. Let's see here. I just like the leaves. I like leaves on anything. This came from the Welcome Home collection. So let's see if we like that. It's kind of a little something different. We have so much going on this page. Why not, right? So I'll think about that. And then this one, it was in the Welcome Home collection also. It said Pride and Joy. I thought that was pretty good. Maybe we can use that for a title. I'm not sure I'm liking those. And then I went into my school supplies. Since this is a school layout, I found one thing that said Honor Roll, which I thought was nice. Pride and Joy is cute. This one says Good Job. I'm mostly going to embellish right down here. Okay, so that one can go up on maybe some foam tape. I'm just going to keep playing with it down here. Let's see what we have. Good Job. This one says Reading, Writing, and Arithmetic. Pride and Joy. It gives you a lot of reading material, but I do have some journaling to write. I also found this one that says you are one cool kid. And we have enamel dots from the Welcome Home collection, as well as some old school books. I'm really liking the books. I think the books are perfect to go like right here on the corner of my journaling box. I also have some of these cool tonal words. I think these were part of a promotion. They're laser cut. And their wording, this one says amazing. I think the colors in this are perfect. Dedicated, that's cute, right? Dedicated. That would be great for an honor roll page. Refreshing, fabulous. See, these are like perfect colors. And then there's green in here as well. Peaceful. Let's see what else. Imagine. Let's see if there's anything good that we can use. Fantastic. It's cute. I'm really liking Dedicated. I think I'm going to go with that. So great. Let's see here. Oh, then you can't see this fits so perfectly right here on top of the books. It's like it was meant to be. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so I'm just going to go through these really quickly. So many cute ones. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, I'm kind of liking that one. Okay, and I think I like this pencil to come kind of just like off to the side. What I liked best about the books is that there's blue and green in there as well. Let me put that right there. So let me put a little adhesive on here. Rest that right on top of those books. There. And then I could do some journaling right there. That's looking really good. I think I will forego the corners. I feel like there's too much going on my layout already. I do like the leaves just to bring in some green down there. It doesn't really make sense for this particular layout, but I like it. You know what else I like? This blue ruler. These are like perfect colors. Pull up the pencil and I'll put the ruler kind of going at an angle, and then the pencil right next to that. That's very cute. That has some black in it, so if we bring in black, I feel like we have to bring it in somewhere else also. I like this ribbon that says good job. I think what I don't like is this part hanging off, so I'm going to fussy cut that off. Now I already fussy cut this out of a cut apart card. I did intentionally leave some of the dark blue around the edge, so I think I'm gonna like that much better and start having something up here as well. So let's pop this up on some foam tape and do that. It works out really good because there's some spots there and we don't need to see in the photo. I kind of like this part that says reading, writing, and arithmetic, but I do like the honor roll actually. That's what she has in her hand, so that is appropriate. And I did like the Cool Kid because I don't want to have two greens here, so I probably won't be using that. One Cool Kid, maybe that's too big. Okay, there are some more books on this page that I kind of like. Let's try one of the open books. Do we like that? We can rest it like this and then put the honor roll around it like that. Yeah, I like that. That's what we're going to do, and I probably will come back in with some enamel dots. Let's see what colors we're liking. Maybe the light blue. Up here for sure, the light blue. Let's do something like this where we have two kind of leading our eye in. Yeah, I like that. And then down here, maybe we should go with something a little darker since we have dark up there also. I'm not sure what color this is. It looks like it might be a gray. And do something like that to bring our eye down. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like I did it. I got my 3 border making cartridges that I selected onto this layout. You know, I do feel like there's a lot going on, but I actually really do like it. And I am trying to finish up my daughter's elementary school days album. So this, I feel like, yay, I got one more page done. So that makes me really happy. I hope that I encouraged you to, you know, if there's some products in your stash that you feel like you're not using and you want to get them to use, make a list and use that random number generator and let it randomly pick, and then try to incorporate whatever you can into your layout. It's fun. You could see it came together pretty easy once I realized what I was going to do, have one at the top, one at the bottom. I felt like everything kind of came together. So I'll be doing this again real soon because I really am loving my tools right now and I really want to use them with another Creative Memories Tools Roulette. But until then, take care, get crafting, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.